I was a child in the deepest retro age. And now here, I'm in my full immersion era. There was a time, during the PSVR 2's life cycle, where the headset's user base was crying out for more games and more content. Most of the big corporations ignored us. Old Formulas heard our cries. He heard us crying out for more VR games and stepped up to the mantle. A hero that not all of us deserved. Coming to our aid at a time when we needed a new VR game the most. The VR situation is getting critical. Armed with unbridled passion and oozing with ultra style, Old Formulas has created a golden era VR masterpiece without the need of a AAA budget. It would have been easy for him to kick back and churn out more of the same usual low poly, zero textured games that so many of his peers utilize. But just like the difficulty levels of his games, he set the difficulty of his own standards to maximum, and this game goes hard. Fully realized and varied sci-fi worlds with some of the most realistically beautiful visuals, special effects, lighting and shadows. All running with a buttery smooth frame rate. On top of that, some of the best weather effects I've ever seen in video game history, my particular favourite being the rain effects, all the while keeping the familiar heart and soul of the franchise. I had to keep reminding myself that this was made by just one developer. I'd like to personally thank Old Formulas for sending me a key of the game to review and make content for. That doesn't sway my opinion, but I've got to say, this is some of the most fun I've had in VR in a long time. The combat has had a complete reworking also. Whilst still maintaining the heart and soul of the Mega Man-esque gameplay, we now have a time slow ability and a telekinesis. Time slow is very useful in a game like this, and it is a welcome addition. Most of the gunfights you get into are like bullet hell, so the ability to slow down time and give yourself a bit of breathing space is a welcome addition. See, on the one hand, this game is like Mega Man in VR, whereas on the other hand, it's a bit like a Magneto simulator. You know what, let me show you. On the one hand, Mega Man, and on the other hand, Magneto simulator. You are a fool, Charles. These new abilities, they do actually make you feel like you are a futuristic cyborg. And things like the time slow ability are also used in the environment. There's often fast spinning blades that you have to bypass, and you have to slow down time in order to make the jump. While most people will appreciate the new lower difficulty that can be chosen from the options menu, I however prefer to play with the difficulty the way the developer intended. You know, watching the pilot get ejected from them drones in slow motion never gets old. By the gods, what fresh hell is this? So dying in this game happens a lot. Ah, you stupid jackass. When you get defeated, it never feels like it's cheap or unfair. It's often due to your own errors. So this gives the game that just have one more go aspect that a lot of addictive retro games used to have. And before you know it, you've sunk an hour, maybe two, in each level. I can't make a System Critical 3 review and not talk about the incredible music. I'm already a fan of the dev's music, but this time around it's so diverse. One moment it's a beautiful orchestral piece, the next moment you're in the golden era of retro arcade games, and then the next minute you've got this absolutely ruthless banging techno beat. They're all written by the dev. There's nothing repetitive here, just pure genius. A quick note, because some content creators out there are claiming that this game is blurry. I don't really see any blur. I mean, I can see a ton of details down there, all the way down there on that floor. I can't really see any blur as such. Some of the lights are very bright. Maybe that's what they meant. I'm not sure. One of the criticisms that System Critical 2 got was you had to carry these items with you throughout the entire journey. But here we have this handy inventory system. We can hold up to 4 items, which is very handy and a welcome addition. All of the levels on the game usually have a theme, such as this one. It's called the Cyborg Slums. It is a huge, hulking great city with structures comprised of rusty metal. Other levels include a neon-lit, rain-soaked circuit board city and more Arthurian legend inspired levels. I'm not going to mention all of the levels here, as it's nice to discover these things for yourself. The levels themselves feel a lot more focused. The platform sections break up the bullet hell gunfights quite nicely. I think I need to give a special mention also to some of the special effects in the game, like the big sun that is blinding to look at and casts light and shadow across the stage. There's also nice explosions, and every energy blaster that you have creates a different color. So the game just sparkles with a lot of color and magic. See, I love how the light and shadows work. This is the kind of thing that you have to see with your own eyes to know exactly what I'm talking about. What kind of fresh hell is this? As I've already said, the levels on this game are pretty spectacular, like this one. It's like it's set in Antarctica. However, the best levels are the last few levels. Okay, I'm certainly not going to ruin anything for anyone here. The bosses mainly consist of giant robot insect bugs, giant robots, ginormous sea creatures, and whatever the hell this thing's supposed to be. Cool design though. The visuals on this game, to me, are crystal clear. And remember, this is just one dev. This isn't like a whole team of developers. That ice looks awesome, by the way. I do have a few minor complaints about the game. One is the haptics in the controllers are a little bit on the subtle side. There is still haptics, so if I grab, I can feel it. If I grab a gun and shoot it, I can feel it in the triggers, and I can feel the arm cannon. But I think the arm cannon should probably have a stronger adaptive trigger effect. But there is one there, so it is nice. Other minor complaints include sometimes the checkpoints leave you just a little bit too vulnerable. So they'll spawn you in and there'll already be enemies shooting at you. Sometimes the enemies can shoot you through walls. It's only happened once so far, and only on one section of the game where there was a lot of moving platforms and things like that. But I thought it was worth a mention. All of these things are very minor. They don't distract from the general overall fun of the game. Every criticism that System Critical 2 received has been addressed and perfected here. Also, full disclosure, I am a massive fan of the System Critical franchise. What might surprise some people out there is that the developer is completely self-taught. Taught himself everything there is to know about making a VR game because his favourite VR game didn't exist. So who should buy this game then? Well, people like me should buy this game, that's who. That's people who grew up in the golden era and have been hankering for this type of experience, but in the new medium of VR, of which this game is perfect for. Also, anybody that enjoys a nice bit of a challenge. Beating difficult games is always a good flex online. And anybody that just enjoys really cool sci-fi shooters. So comparing this to System Critical 2, this one absolutely smashes it. However, this also stands up with the best of them. And not only does it stand up with the best of them, it also double jumps high above them, rains down bullet hell on top of them, and survives on System Critical. I hope this review has helped you make an informed decision on whether you want to buy the game or not. And please consider watching other small VR content creators, as it helps them out quite a lot too. And thank you very much for watching my System Critical 3 review.